Answer on this one is 9 square root of 2. Everybody had that? This one breaks up as square root of 4, square root of 6. So 6 times 2 would give us a 12. 12 square root of 6. Everybody had this one. It's 40 square root of 2. The square root of 72 breaks up as 36 and 2, so that would be 6 times 6. 36 square root of 2 is the answer. This one breaks up as square root of 4, square root of 3, so it would be 10 times 2. That would give us 20 square root of 3. Pick a number from 1 to 20. The winning numbers today are 2, 5, 6, 14, and 19. Today's objective is to simplify radical expressions. You will have a test tomorrow. It will be multiple choice, 20 questions, and 5 extra credit. Flashcard, say the answer out loud when you know it. 4 square root of 2. 6. 4 square root of 2. 6 square root of 2. 50. 4 square root of 2. 15. Well, I fouled up on that one. Should be this. 15. Nope, just 15. 16. 9. 27. 12 square root of 5. 20 square root of 2, yeah. 12 square root of 3. 25. Here's example 1. 3 square root of 2 over 4 square root of 8. Simplify where you can first if possible. The top is okay, but the bottom has a square root of 8 in it. So break that one up. We know that the square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2. We've done that many times. So we have 8 square root of 2 on the bottom. Do I multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 now? Cancel, yeah. Final answer is 3 over 8. If you were to go and multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2, you're going to be wasting your time. You have to recognize that these cancel out. Here's example 2. This one is 12 square root of 20 over 6 square root of 12. Now clearly you can reduce 12 over 6. That's just 2. But now for the square root of 20 over square root of 12. 4 goes into both of those. So if I take out 4 from 20 and 12, I would get square root of 5 over square root of 3. Then of course I have to multiply the top and the bottom by square root of 3 to come up with 2 square root of 15 on the top and simply 3 on the bottom. There's nothing else that can be simplified after that. That's the final answer. On the practice problem, you can reduce the 4 and 12 to get 1 over 3. And then the square root of 2 over square root of 18 to get 1 over 9. Square root of 9. So, on the bottom you'll have 3 times 3. Square root of 9. That's going to dwindle down to 3. So your final answer is 1 over 9. This one is square root of 16, square root of 3, should be 4 square root 3. For bonus 2a, that should have been square root of 36, square root of 2, which is 6 square root of 2. And on the bonus 2a, or 2b, it should be square root of 4, square root of 10. That's 2 square root of 10. Bonus 3. Answer on this one is 4 square root of 5. It breaks up as 16 and 5. For the practice problem, let's reduce 8 over 20 to get 2 over 5. And then multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. And that will give you 2 square root of 6 on the top and 5 times 2 on the bottom. 2 square root of 6 over 10 simplifies to square root of 6 over 5. The bonus problem. Square root of 8 breaks up as 2 square root of 2. So it should be 6 square root of 2. This one breaks up as 4 and 5. So you would have 4 times 2 square root of 5, which is 8 square root of 5. For the first one, that's going to be 24 square root of 15, and the second one is 6 square root of 2. This is the second time we've had this class. It breaks up as 16 and 5. So 4 square root of 5. This one breaks up as square root of 16 square root of 3, which is 4 square root of 3. This one breaks up as 4 and 15, so it's 2 square root of 15. This one is simply 4 times 4, which is 16. This one is 10 square root of 10. It cannot be simplified. Pick a number from 1 to 10. The winning numbers for the mid-class lottery are going to be 1, 4, and 8. Example 3. On the top you have 2 plus square root of 3, and on the bottom you have 4 minus the square root of 2. To get rid of the square root on the bottom, you can't simply multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2. You have to do the following. You multiply the top and the bottom by 4 plus square root of 2. That will create a difference of 2 squares when you multiply on the bottom and eliminate the square roots. You use the same quantity that's on the bottom except you change the sign. On the bottom, a difference of 2 squares works like this. Square this one to get 16, put a minus sign down, and then square this one, which would just be 2. On the top, you have to multiply that out completely. And we may have to move to the bottom here to do that. We'll go ahead and simplify this to be 14. And down here on the bottom, we'll do these multiplications. Start with 2. Start with the 2 and multiply it by each of these items here. 2 times 4 and 2 times square root of 2. That would be 8 plus 2 square root of 2. And then move to the square root of 3 and multiply it by each of these. So this times this would be 4 square root of 3, and then this times this is square root of 6. Now look to see if you can simplify anything. Square root of 2, 3, and 6. Can't simplify that. We have an 8, 2, 4, and a 1 right here that is not written. Can't simplify that. So your final answer would end up being this. Example 4. This is practice on the difference of 2 squares. If I had 5 plus square root of 2 and then times 5 minus square root of 2, I would square this number to get 25. Put a minus sign down always, and then square this to get 2. The answer would be 23. Practice 3. On the practice problem, square this to get 16 and then put minus, square this to get 6. The answer is 10. This is not going to be a difference of 2 squares because you have 2 plus signs. If you multiply this out, you get 16 plus 4 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 6 plus 6. Add these two to get 22. You have 4 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 6, which is 8 square root of 6. 22 plus 8 square root of 6. Square this to get 25. And then square this to get 2. Answer is a poorly written 23. Square this to get 256 and square this to get 23. Subtract and get 233. On the practice problem, you're going to square this to get 100 minus square this to get 10. The answer is 90. If you multiply these two together, it's 3. And these two together, it's going to be 2. Answer is 6. Alright, the square root of 18 will match up with 3, 3, and 2. So it would be this essentially times itself. Answer is 18. The answer for this one, for the third time today, is going to be 4 square root of 5. Answer on this one for how many times today?
3.
3. 4 square root of 3. The answer should be 2 square root of 15. Alright, 2 times 6 square root of 2. We've had this how many times today?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. 12 square root of 2 is the answer. The answer on this one is to do 2 times 2 is 4, and then this times this is 3, so you get 12. Pick a number from 1 to 8. The winning numbers today are going to be 3, 5, and 7.